In the 2026 Royal Rumble, it faced massive criticism online for its execution and booking. Fans pointed out numerous botches in the women's match, which disrupted the flow and made it seem almost humorous. What should have been a lively sequence of eliminations turned sluggish as contestants stumbled, miscued, repeatedly reset moves. Reddit users noted that the early moments felt sloppy and disjointed, lacking smoothness. Official reports only state that Liv Morgan won by eliminating Tiffany Stratton, but viewers focused more on the mistakes than the outcome. An analyst mentioned that the match, quote, really picked up once Brie Bella made a late surprise return. But by then, much credibility was lost. Overall, the Women's Rumble was marred by clear in-ring errors and dampened the momentum and raised questions about the production quality. The Drew McIntyre-Sami Zayn WWE Championship match was technically sound, but for some, unremarkable. Sami Zayn valiantly was built up as an underdog going in, but the match itself offered no historic moments to justify that build. Both wrestlers hit their signature moves, and there were near falls, but nothing unexpected happened. Afterward, fans noted that the bout was decent from a wrestling standpoint, but lacking in drama and had a predictable finish. Even though Sami's crowd-pleasing offense was on display, critics online said that the match felt routine, as if WWE just went through the motions. Because of that, nothing about the match stood out in people's memories beyond the final kick. The more disappointing aspect of how WWE handled Sami Zayn's story heading into the Rumble is that it felt like the perfect moment to maybe finally crown him as champion, especially given his popularity in the Middle East and Saudi Arabia. Many observers and fans expected it to be a big payoff for his long title chase. Instead, WWE again delayed that moment. Comments on social media and in the wrestling media pointed out the irony. Sami's character had been built up for years, yet on the night when victory seemed rightfully his, he came up short once more. The frustrated fan base, who felt the creative team was dragging out the story unnecessarily, are once again in effect feeling that WWE indicated that Sami's time as champion will still come, leaving many to wonder if his push to the top will ever materialize. The men's Royal Rumble match was similarly underwhelming to this segment of fans. On paper, the match had drama. Brock Lesnar made his return for the first time since Survivor Series War Games in November. Roman Reigns entered late, and Gunther, who was quite despised, came in last. In practice, however, none of the advertised confrontations occurred. There was no Brock-Gunther clash, despite a possibility of it in the eyes of many. They even teased a confrontation between the Beast Incarnate and Oba Femi. And it would have been a good idea for Oba to eliminate Lesnar and gain some momentum, but fans were left scratching their heads at the decision to make Lesnar eliminate Oba instead. Social media erupted with complaints that WWE wasted the chance to let those two giants face off and similarly stage a Reigns versus Lesnar moment, even though Lesnar was at ringside. Instead, Brock Lesnar's elimination was almost unnoticed and became an example of the night's sloppy booking. He was the recipient of a fast double team from Rhodes and Knight and then quietly eliminated, to the point that many viewers barely registered his exit during Jey Uso's entrance. It was anticlimactic in the way it rode off a special attraction like Brock, who barely lasted 5 minutes in the match. Meanwhile, Roman Reigns' part of the story was equally confusing. On screen, Reigns attacked Jey Uso, yes, a member of the Bloodline, only to team up with him later on to attack Cody. And that made no logical sense to viewers. Fans were left confused as to what this meant for the characters. The Tribal Chief's vicious assault was effectively erased by a show of unity. In essence, the company undermined its own drama by immediately undoing the Reigns-Jey conflict within minutes. This left the narrative in shambles. Reigns was simultaneously portrayed as angry and reconciled, and no clear storyline direction emerged from the match. In short, the Rumble match lacked any major face-offs. It felt like a list of names randomly thrown in rather than carefully plotted for battle. Other entries in the men's Royal Rumble match were also wasted. Gunther's inclusion as the final entrant meant nothing for the match's story. He was simply speared by Reigns and tossed out to decide the winner. Two returning stars, Rusev and the newly signed former AEW star Powerhouse Hobbs, now known as Royce Keys, made early comebacks but no significant impact. Rusev was eliminated within the first minute and forgotten about as soon as he hit the floor. Hobbs' new character even scored eliminations, but within minutes, he too was eliminated by Bronson Reed. Both could have been stepping stones for new feuds or surprises, but WWE treated them as throwaway spots. In a similar fashion, The Miz and Randy Orton were brought in and were meant to generate buzz, but in practice, they did nothing memorable. The Miz basically ran into the ring and was immediately chased out by Reigns. Orton hit a few quick moves before being eliminated with no fanfare. Even crowd favorite entries from Mexico's AAA promotion like Mr. Iguana and La Parka only got fleeting reactions and no story development. Fans also couldn't help but notice that Finn Balor, who just challenged for the world title on Monday Night Raw a week earlier, didn't get a spot, while 2 spots were wasted on 2 versions of El Grande Americano, which contributed nothing to the match. The only genuine surprise that night was Brie Bella's appearance in the Women's Rumble. Beyond her, all big surprise returns were either predicted or inconsequential. In short, Triple H promised a Rumble full of surprises, but delivered almost none of them. Maybe the brightest light on this year's Royal Rumble is a match that still ended in a sad way: the retirement of AJ Styles. Yeah, it was sad. Some will debate, did it need to happen in Saudi Arabia? I know many fans in North America and Europe may be sounding off that way, but you cannot deny that Gunther is now the guy who retires legends. He's put down John Cena, he ended Goldberg, and now he can add AJ Styles to the list. AJ ends an outstanding career in WWE, if this is indeed the end, that started at a Royal Rumble 10 years ago. The match was outstanding, went back and forth, but you knew once Gunther had that sleeper sunk in, it was bad news for AJ. And he passed out. He didn't tap out like John Cena. He got to go down on his sword. AJ, no matter how you spin it, is one of the best pro wrestlers of his generation, and he got to have a big match at the end, if not the exact match that maybe everyone wanted him to have. In summary, the Royal Rumble 2026 left fans not satisfied on multiple fronts. The women's match was hurt by countless execution errors that killed its credibility, while the men's match suffered from lazy booking that refused to capitalize on marquee matchups. The undisputed title match between Drew and Sami had strong in-ring work, but the narrative was flat and Sami's anticipated breakthrough was postponed yet again. Analysts across wrestling media and social media platforms summed it up. The event was marked by missed opportunities, botched spots, and vacant storylines. In effect, WWE had assembled a stacked card, but repeatedly fumbled in key moments, resulting in a Royal Rumble that was remembered not for its winners, but for all the things that went wrong. If this keeps up, it won't be long before a major chunk of WWE's universe starts to lose interest and stops watching the product.